Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here, and I am glad to be here. I'm going to talk to you about two Jordans today. First of all, let me just say what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for mentors. Mentors, maybe I have never even met. People whose words and examples have steadied me in my own storms. One of those mentors is a man named William George Jordan. Over a century ago, he wrote a little book called The Majesty of Calmness. And it's a book I love so much that I republished it as an Empowered Wealth publication. In it, he wrote these words about calmness. He says, calmness is the rarest quality in human life. It is the poise of a great nature in harmony with itself and its ideals. And that grabbed me. See, calmness isn't passivity, it's poise. It's being so grounded in your ideals and gratitude and faith and purpose that the storms on the outside don't take over the inside. Now let's talk about the other Jordan. Let's fast forward 100 years or so. Michael Jordan. And I was fortunate to have front row seats the night of the famous flu game, game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals in Salt Lake City. Here's what I saw. First of all, Jordan looked awful in the warm-ups. He was clearly sick, low on energy. From what I understand afterwards, he had a temperature of approaching 104. So he was staggering around the corner. I figured there's no way this guy's going to play. And he shouldn't have been on the floor. Yet, over 44 minutes later, he scored, rebounded, defended, and hit that crucial shot in the closing seconds to beat the Jazz. Now, what stayed with me even more than the numbers was his calm. From just a few feet away, I watched him in timeouts. No theatrics, no panic. He just came in there. He kept coming back to the huddle with the same expression, focused, composed, one possession at a time. Now, you could feel it in his teammates. I was that close. If Michael had dramatized his illness, if he had emotionally unraveled, the Bulls could have folded. But instead, his calm became a keel for the entire team. That's a unique type of calm. It isn't passive. Buckminster Fuller, the great architect and system thinker, taught us about something called the trim tab. On these big, massive ships, the rudder's too large to turn the ship by force alone. So there's this little tiny blade on the edge of the rudder called the trim tab. If you move that small piece, it creates just enough pressure to turn the rudder, which then turns the entire ship. And Jordan's calm wasn't just a keel holding the ship steady, it was a trim tab. Small, steady presence that redirected everyone around him. Now, most of us will never play in the NBA Finals, but we will all have, and we do have, our own flu game moments. It may be hard family conversations when we're exhausted. It could be a meeting where the company's future feels uncertain. The moment difficult news arrives. We're living in a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And we get the opportunity to lead. And in those moments, though, our calm or our panic does not stay inside of us. It spreads. And that becomes the emotional climate for everybody around us. So like on a great ship, only a small percentage sits below the waterline. That hidden part's the keel. That's what keeps everything upright in the storm. And calmness is like that hidden 10% in our lives. It's not going to show up on our resume. It doesn't show in our social media, look at me. But when the waves rise, that's what keeps our families, our teams, and our communities from capsizing. Now, here's another quote from William George Jordan. The only responsibility that a man cannot evade in this life is the one he thinks of least, which is his personal influence. That's the heart of calmness. Your influence, especially in moments of chaos, flows from your inner state. So this week, when your own flu game moments appear, let's remember the two Jordans. William George Jordan reminding us that calmness is the poise of a great nature in harmony with its ideals. And then Michael Jordan showing us what that poise looks like in the middle of pressure and pain. Here's a question we can all ask ourselves. How can I be steady enough to be steady for others? Ask that question when you're in your own flu moment. Grab something that grounds you, touch something that grounds you. For me, it's a gratitude rock. And then let calmness become your hidden keel and your trim tab for everyone who is sailing with you. The strongest leaders are not those who control the storm, but those who remain steady enough to steady others. Make life meaningful. Be the calmness this week. I look forward to talking to you next week. Bye bye.